Hey YouTube, welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Roman, and yes, we are back with another crime story. And this time, this one is deeply strange. The guy has been convicted, but the details of this entire case are completely disturbing. So let's get into it. So Malik Martinet, aka Lawrence Marty Banks, 68 years old, of Baltimore, Maryland, who's also a former Marine, was convicted of second-degree murder and unauthorized disposal of his 43-year-old daughter, Dominique Foster. Let's explore this. So his daughter, Dominique Foster, she was a troubled individual. She was a frequent substance abuser. She had 6 kids. She was married to a Willie Foster who lived in North Carolina. They was married for, I want to say, for about 15 years. 15 or 16 years. I know it's in the teen, but they were married for a long time. And last year she moved back to Baltimore to live with her sister. And her father, he was living in the Baltimore, Maryland area as well. And so she was trying to get clean. She was in and out of rehab in the Baltimore, Maryland area. And recently, her last known instance of being at a rehab, her father was harassing her there. And so she ended up leaving there. Now, the father, he despised his daughter. He was pretty disgusted the fact that she was a drug abuser. He was sending, the prosecutors found text messages that he had sent his daughter, mean and hateful text messages. He also sent messages to her 6 children regarding her being, on drugs, and as well as her HIV status, something that they may not have known, but he took it upon himself to share that with her family members. He was also disgusted by her so much that he sent a video of her shooting up drugs to her kids. Now, how sad and how horrible of something to do. No one wants to see their parents in that kind of light. And prosecutors was able to pull out the fact that he did not want her to be his daughter, and that he physically and sexually abused his daughter from her earlier ages all the way up into her adult life. So let's talk about what happened. So from what I've read, a neighbor called 911 because they saw a suspicious shopping cart located near a dumpster, and I guess it was leaking blood. So police officers arrived on scene. They found this shopping cart that had hefty garbage bags inside of it, and it was dripping blood. And so they saw the blood. They opened it up and they found Dominique Foster's torso, I think her neck and her lower growing area in the bag. Her head, her hands, her feet, and her lower legs were all completely missing. And during the period of this time, they said that her body had been there for over a period of 7 days. And over that 7 days, it had been raining. So the rain eliminated anything like fingerprints or anything that they could have found to link someone to this case. So that's why it took about 2 years for this man to be convicted. In addition to that, they saw video footage of someone around that same time pushing a shopping cart to that location. And this person had like a limp in their walk and had on a white overcoat. But the most curious thing or interesting thing is that he took, whomever it was, took the foot and cleared all the tracks that he made in the sand or the dirt so that he couldn't be found. So her father's fiance, which they lived about 700 feet away from the location where they discovered her body, said that she found it very strange that she had been trying to get in contact with him all day on May 10th. And he was not responding. She said, he normally always picks up for her. So when he got home that night, he had like scratches and marks on his neck and arms, and she asked him what happened, and he said that it was the radiator of his van. It overheated as he was trying to fix it or something like that. And he asked her for cocoa butter to apply to his marks, and they went on about their day. How they found it to be him was he didn't live far from where she was found. Again, it was about 700 feet, and which matches camera footage of someone pushing a shopping cart to conceal the track. So they were able to figure out that from the GPS location on his phone to the location where it was, they can figure out that he had been traveling back and forth in that area. What's crazy about this is, listen to these details. He was in 1975. He threw his 7-month-old daughter, Dominique Foster, through a glass door during an argument with his mother during Christmas. Now, this happened during a Christmas celebration. He got drunk. He got in an argument with his mother. Got in an argument with his wife at his mother's house, told both of them that something was going to happen to the baby. Next thing they know, they hear glass shatter and the baby's been thrown through the glass. They rushed the baby to the hospital, and she ended up having to get stitches on her forehead. And from that, he was sentenced to 15 years in prison and released on 1988. Now, that's nothing. Check this out. While he was awaiting his trial and out on bail, his wife, Vivian Foster, the mother to Dominique Foster, she was found dead in a closet in East Baltimore. And they was never able to figure out who did it. He was always a suspect in her murder. So he ended up getting away with that. No one ever caught him on that. So he was released from prison in December of 1988. As he got out in early 1990s, he was out drinking with 2 of his friends, got into an argument with them, shot one of them, and killed the other. Pleaded guilty to that, but that's nothing. That same day, he drove to his 17-year-old son's house, fatally shot him because he was mad that both his son and Dominique Foster made allegations that he abused and sexually abused them when they were younger. So he pled no contest to fatally shooting his son, and he received 2 20-year prison terms for shooting his friend, killing his friend, and killing his 17-year-old son. He was released on October 2002. Now, during all of this time, Dominique Foster had been telling people that if I die, it's going to be because of my father. The same way he killed my mom, the same way he killed my brother. It'll be because of my father. She had been saying this during this time. And so in 2006, he then was another suspect in the killings of his girlfriend at the time, her grown daughter, and her infant granddaughter. And that situation remains unsolved, and he was never charged in that. So it brings us now to, I want to say it was back in 2019, May 10, 2019, when he allegedly, well, now he's been convicted on it, but murdered his daughter. And it makes sense, that this all has come full circle. It's also really, really sad that the kids spanning various ages have to also deal with this. They put up a GoFundMe back in 2019. The fact that this happened on May 10th, 2019, which was Mother's Day, was also sad, but they started a GoFundMe to help, cover some of the costs of her funeral. And, they also had to attend the program of their mother being buried, all 6 of them. And so some of the words that they, wanted to share with everybody, just as some final words was, even though terrible things were said to try and diminish our mother's character, she will forever be our hero, knowing that she stuck to her word and stayed clean. Thank you, Lord, and thank you to everyone who was involved in solving the case and being able to see the true side of this monster. It's so sad, and my heart definitely goes out to the kids, and I hope you all become soldiers and, carry on the legacy for your mom and for yourselves, and just show other people that despite what you may have gone through, despite all of the trials that have been standing in your way, you will come out on the end of this looking like great people. You have a strong story. You all need to get together, and once you all have healed, take as much time as you healed, you have a story, and you need to share your story with the world, and with that comes fruit. So, be very mindful that you all have something good on your hands, even though it came out of trauma, a very traumatic experience, you definitely have the opportunity to shed light to other people who may be dealing with the same thing. Woo, child. So my take on this, I definitely believe that there was some substance abuse going on between the father and the daughter. I think they both were using drugs together. I think he was disgusted, more so disgusted at her because, you know, of his own insecurities, his own hate for himself. You know, I think that he killed the mother, killed the son. You know, he took away things that knew his demons and knew his inner secrets, and then tried to build these other relationships and families with other people. And so the last remaining person on this, you know, his history was his daughter. And to know that he's been sexually abusing her and, you know, abusing her, it makes me think that, you know, when she moved back to Baltimore with her sister, and then she went to go live with her father during that course of time, that there had been definitely sexual abuse going on, definitely abuse of drugs between them two. They both were complicit. They probably got into an argument. You know, a huge part of me feels like she said something along the lines of, you know, why are you doing this to me? Or something like that, that triggered something in his brain to just go off. And that's what he did. And he took the life of his daughter. I found this to be so troubling that it took 2 years to actually convict him, knowing that not only, you know, did he state numerous times that he was disgusted with her, but his pre-existing criminal history, you know, a suspect to a lot of murders of people around you, and actually pleading guilty and no contest to the murder of your son, you know, should have been enough to convict this man a lot sooner. But the courts in Maryland did not allow the prosecutors to include any criminal history of this man prior to, I think it was 2010. And so all of this stuff happened prior to 2010. So they had no history, they had no knowledge. And also he changed his name, Lawrence Marty Banks, and he changed his name to Malik Samartane. It allowed him to sort of have this, you know, free reign. And a lot of the articles talked about this man, you know, he was skilled at, you know, being a different person, presenting some image of himself that he really wasn't. And he was a very abusive man, especially to women in his life. So part of me believes that his current wife, she knew about his struggles with drugs, because I definitely think he struggled with drugs, but also knew about the allegations that of sexual abuse and substance abuse with his daughter. And I think she was being abused herself to the point where she couldn't say or do anything. You know, the first wife that he shot and killed, the articles were saying that Vivian Foster had put out a restraining order against him and order of protection because he had nights prior held a iron skillet, 7-inch thick skillet to her neck trying to kill her. And she fought and got away from him. And unfortunately, while he was awaiting trial for what he did to his daughter, she went and dropped those charges against him successfully. And during that time, he was allowed to see her. This is when, you know, allegedly he may have killed her and stuffed her in the closet. This was a very, very sad story. I mean, this man took out a complete line of his family, the wife, the mother, the kids, and now he's going to jail. It's like they have no existence. They weren't even here. They were here just for him, and he took them out once he was done with them. It's very sad. The story came out yesterday about him being convicted, but it happened 2 years ago, and that's just really what I was boggled on. The fact that it took 2 years to convict this man. So now we have another, you know, family, father killing the you know, a child, or the mother, you know, and it's just sad because a lot of times this comes from not knowing how to deal with your own demons and deal with your own you know, rage and anger, and, you know, how to channel that into something else. And certainly he could have done that, especially seeing your daughter trying to go to rehab. Like, seeing her do it should have been a push for herself. So yeah, this was a sad one. You drop down in the comments and you let me know what you think about this entire story. And do you think the wife knew more than what she told? And should she be an accessory to the murder of his daughter? And do you think he is the actual he's the actual suspect who killed Vivian Foster, the first wife? And do you think he is the suspect who killed the girlfriend's daughter and her child, her granddaughter? Please like, comment, share, and subscribe. And until next time, And until next time, deuces.